my name is Miranda and welcome to my annual video where I count down my top 10 OTPs of the year. And really quickly before I get started, if you want to check out any previous year's OTP lists for an OTP that maybe you don't see on here but you've heard me talk about before, I will leave those all linked in the description box down below if you want to check those out at your leisure. But kicking off at number 10, we have a dual couple, and that is April and Ram and Charlie and Matthias, I think is how you say it, from Class, which is the BBC spin-off of Doctor Who. The show was sadly cancelled after only one season, so we'll never get to see our beloved characters again. But I really think that this series had two very strong couples that they built up very well in just 8 episodes. So Charlie and Matthias obviously are just the cutest thing you will ever see, and the way they depend on each other and rely on each other and help each other out is absolutely adorable. One of my favorite scenes between them is when Charlie is having a panic attack, except he doesn't know what a panic attack is because they don't have them on his planet, and Matthias talks him through it and says he's here for him even though they're fighting, and gets him kind of just that support and love he needs. April and Ram, on the other hand, are a couple that really came out of left field for me. I didn't expect them to get together, but they work so well together, and that they challenge each other and support each other very well. And there's a whole great episode dedicated to Ram kind of helping April when she's going through everything that she's going through with being connected to the Shadow King, and it's just really great to see their connection as well. And I just really like how both the dynamics were different but worked very well together. You don't see that a lot, I feel like, in shows where there are two equal couples that work completely differently but very well together. So I really like those, and I'm sad that we'll never see them again. Number 9 is from Maggie Seawater's new book, All the Crooked Saints, and it is the main character, Beatrice, and her boo, Pete. I just think these are two characters that on paper were very different, but worked very well together. Again, I think what made it great was the fact that Beatrice was kind of in this environment where she'd been raised, she lived, she kind of functioned all with her family and everything, and Pete was an outsider coming into this kind of just looking for a new leash on life and kind of just looking for something even if he didn't know what it was. And it was great to see how different they are and how they kind of, I don't know, it just literally, this book is about magic and miracles, and that's the best way to describe their relationship, I feel like, is it truly feels magical. Like these two people were just meant to be together and they were brought together. Number 8 is from another new book from 2017, and that is Carve the Mark. The characters are the main characters, the dual point of view characters, whose names I'm probably going to butcher, but bear with me, and that is Coase and Kira. I think it's Kira, I'm going with Kira, but it could be very wrong. So these two actually start out as bitter enemies, and not in a like I don't like you way, and like her people like are fighting his people for control of land. And what makes this really cool is that this is a great relationship that starts out, aside from the enemies thing, as a friendship first, and then develops into one of those things where you slowly see the characters start to realize that they trust each other more than anyone else in the world, and they just balance each other out very well. If you're not noticing the theme of this list, I like characters that balance each other out very well, which is definitely what Coase and Kira do. I think they're just so amazing together, and I'm really excited to see what's going to happen in the next and final book, even though with duologies, usually one of the partners dies. So I'm just hanging on to how happy they made me. And this was one, I read the book back in like January of this year, and after I put it down, it was like, they're definitely going to be on my OTP list for the end of the year. And number 7, you've probably seen all over Tumblr if you're on that, and that is, again, I'm trying to pronounce his name, but I might be wrong. I think it's Elio and Oliver from Call Me By Your Name. I am so in love with this movie. I haven't read the book yet. I'm planning on it, guys, don't worry. But it just is so visually pretty, and then also tells such a raw and powerful story of not only first love, but of kind of identifying with your sexuality, coming to terms with it. And it's great to see two people who, if I don't want to spoil it, but who really, they don't have much standing in their way of loving each other, and it's really great to see a queer couple that kind of gets to be happy and gets to love each other and actually realize that. And I think the two actors just play it phenomenally. Armie Hammer, But then also, I don't know how to say his name. Is it like Timothy? I don't know. It's got like 3 E's in it, guys, and I don't understand what this name is, but I think it's Timothy, and he does also a phenomenal job as Elios. Number 6 is one that they really haven't had much interaction yet, but I'm going off of what the material it's based on, and this is Gert and Chase from the Runaways, which I'm talking about the show that premiered on Hulu this past November, right? So Gert and Chase haven't had too much. They've had some very cute moments, though, that kind of hint at more of what's to come, and I think the later episodes are obviously going to touch upon that more. Just based on from what I've seen, though, it's going to be so, so cute, and I think it reminds me, I kind of forgot how much I love Gert and Chase in the comics, so it's great to see them now portrayed on screen and how it's a bit different in that I think Gert is definitely more of the pining one, which I kind of don't like as much, but I'm excited to see when Chase actually finally starts to be more open about his feelings towards Gert, how that will change the dynamic, and I think they just are very cute together, and again, they are a couple that on paper they don't seem to work at all, but then when you put them together, they balance each other out somehow very, very well. Number 5 is John and Clarice from The Gifted. I super, super love this couple. I have shipped them since, like, I don't know, I think it was the pilot when I was like, I'm getting feels that these two are gonna be together, so I'm really excited just to see where it goes. I think they rely on each other very, very well, and I just love how he's kind of like this like zen, like everything rolls off my back thing, and she's this sarcastic, like she'll call you out on everything, but yet somehow she just manages to amuse him, and like that kind of amuses her that like she can constantly just like, he puts up with her attitude, and I feel like that's something that she hasn't maybe had a while, like it's kind of a defense mechanism to push people away, and for him it just amuses him more than anything else. So I'm really excited to see how their relationship is going to progress and change for the final 3 episodes, which are going to premiere at the beginning of January. We haven't got a confirmation on season 2 for The Gifted, but I'm really hoping, because I feel like these two are in it for the long run, and I really can't wait to see them actually start to become closer and become a couple. I think it'll be so, so great. Number 4 is going to be Benedict and Beatrice, and this is from the book Speak Easy, Speak Love, which is also based on Much Ado About Nothing. I had never read Much Ado About Nothing, but Beatrice and Benedict are like my couple. Like those are the couples I like that start out as enemies and are constantly like sniping at each other and being sarcastic, and then finally like suddenly they're like, oh my gosh, we like each other, and then they realize it and they're still just as snarky and snipey, but now there's so much like obvious love behind it, and just 2 very witty individuals, and that's like what I love is when like couples give it back to each other, you know, like kind of like I know, and then they're like super sarcastic, and that's what they are, and I really, really loved it. And when they got together, it was just as great as I imagined it would be, so. Alright, down to the top 3. Coming in at the number 3 spot, we have Steve and Diana from the wonderful, wonderful Wonder Woman movie. Prepare to cry your eyes out if you haven't seen this movie yet when it comes to Steve and Diana. I'm holding out hope that they're somehow going to bring him back in some way, shape, or form, because, I mean, this is superhero movies. We have no laws or reasoning here, so it's completely conceivable that he could come back, just hopefully not in a Bucky Winter Soldier type way. I just really, really like this because I think Wonder Woman had so many expectations for me in that it was the first female-driven superhero movie, so I was very curious also to see how they were going to treat the love interest, and I think the way they did Steve, they really did kind of like the one way that actually deserves Wonder Woman. You know, he was respectful of her, he treated her as an equal, he tried to stop her like when he thought like it was too dangerous, but at the same time it was in a way that he would also try and stop his best friend, you know, from doing something that's too dangerous. Like he knew what her powers were, and he knew that she was stronger than him, and his thing was to support her. And I think on both sides that was always their relationship, it was very equal in that they knew what each other's strengths were, and they were going to help each other play off of that, rather than kind of getting into like a fight of being like, well, I'm better than you. Coming in at number 2, we have Sana and Yusuf from Scum. You knew Scum was going to be on here eventually. This was a couple, man. I was not sure where the season was going when it started, but as soon as we kind of got the hints of Sana liking one of her brother's friends, I was like, oh, because that is, okay, one thing you guys need to know about me, my like top 2 favorite trope for OTPs, and they're similar, so that's why I say top 2, is either character falling in love with their best friend's brother, preferably older, or character falling in love with their brother's best friend. Again, preferably older. Those are my two favorite. Like, I will read any and every media book, everything you give me on that. So that was Sana and Yusuf. They were just so cute together, guys, and they went through so many hardships. It wasn't a perfect season. Like, I really wish we had gotten more time with them, and he wasn't even in the last episode, which was really weird. But I just love how Sana is this tough individual, and Yusuf kind of didn't try and break her walls down so much as just support her, and he really saw when she was struggling. And I think that was really great for her to have someone who was kind of like, you don't have to be completely, like, this hardened person around me, but like didn't call her out on it, just kind of let her be. And it was really, really cute, and Yusuf is just adorable. Like, he threw grass at her, guys. It's so cute. Speaking of Scum, #1 couple you saw on my 2016 list that I fell even more in love with in 2017, and that is Isaac and Evan. I just love these two. I love seeing them in a healthy and happy relationship, and I think what made it even more special was in 2016 how you had so many queer LGBT couples who did not get happy endings. So seeing Isaac and Evan now together and happy, moving in together, protecting each other, standing up for each other, being there for each other, especially when you would compare to season 3 when even they were together, Isaac was still a little unsure of how much PDA he wanted to put on, how exactly to display his love for Evan. To see him kind of really reconcile that and be so open and so loving and so soft, I just think it was amazing. And I was literally like, you guys can go watch my reactions. I was just a like smiling fool whenever they were on, because they were such a good realistic couple. Like, they still had their fights, they still had their little petty stuff that they talked about, but they always worked out, and it always came from a place of love. And I think that's a really important thing to see, is that, like, it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows, it's not always going to be doom and gloom, it's going to be somewhere in the middle for the most part, but it's what you put into it is what you get out. So I really, really liked it. I was so pleased that I think they had a good balance of showing Isaac and Evan without overshadowing Sana and her whole storyline, which I really like. Like, they worked in them pretty well. And I mean, they moved in together, guys, and it's adorable, and their flat has little fan art on it. It's like, oh, it's just so cute. So there you have it, guys. Those are my top 10 OTPs of 2017. As always, please feel free to leave your favorite OTPs, couples that were just super cute this year, or that you actually discovered for the first time this year, down below in the comments. I love fangirling about all of them. That's one of them. This is videos one I look forward to all year. So I'm super excited to read those and share yours. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel down below to put on and make all sorts of new videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!